Welcome to the Retirement Evolved podcast with certified financial fiduciary Adam Bruno.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
It is that time of year, isn't it? Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. How are you?
I am good, Bill. You know, I escaped with the babies the other day. I got my mom and my stepfather in town, and, you know, the house is packed, so I grabbed the kids and ran off to the mall and did a little Christmas shopping.
Yeah, because the mall's never packed.
It was really not that bad. We had a good time. I was actually, you know, it's just me and them, and they were in the stroller the whole time, and Maverick was actually doing really well. We passed the cookie store on the way in. I said, listen, if you cooperate, I'm going to make sure that it rains cookies on the way out of this place. And I did. I got about 5 or 6 cookies. He only ate like 1 or 2, but I had him. Then I could bribe him with them the rest of the week, too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
See? Forward thinking.
That's right.
So it's put you in the position in life that you are, sir.
Something like that, Bill. Yeah. Something like that.
So listen. We kind of left the last podcast debating whether or not Die Hard was a Christmas movie, right?
Oh, there's no debate. It is, but yes. Yeah, sure.
Okay, whatever. So I had my folks put together this list of Christmas movies, and I'm going to have to admit, it's on the list.
I told you.
It's on the list. Yeah. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of them out there. All kind. You know, we've got how many years of Christmas movies to choose from? But
there's a lot of them.
Some of the top grossing Christmas movies of all time is the list that we had put together here. And at number 8 was Elf with Will Ferrell. I thought it might have done better than that, but
call me an elf one more time.
That's right. I love that line. It's like
Peter Dinklage before he was really famous. I mean, I always liked him.
Oh yeah. Before he got drunk on Game of Thrones.
That's right.
Years, so. The Polar Express checked in at number 7. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the classic from my childhood. Oh, no, actually, the one with Jim Carrey.
This is the Jim Carrey one, right? Yes. I was going to say that. You'd think the other one's probably a little higher.
It is 4th highest. Well, actually, except it wasn't a movie, so I guess that doesn't qualify. It was made for TV, the original cartoon.
Right.
Home Alone and Home Alone 2 are at number 2 and 3 on the list, and the top-grossing Christmas movie of all time was the animated feature of The Grinch in 2018. I have not seen that. I don't know that one.
I didn't see it either. That's crazy.
But Die Hard fell in at number 16 on this list.
See.
So,
what about the Santa Claus? That was like Tim Allen.
Those it's in the teens. It's in the mid, down around 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. But
and A Christmas Story isn't even on here, huh?
Yeah, and you know the one that my wife and I have really gotten into the last couple of years is on Netflix with Kurt Russell. The
What's
Christmas
the name
Chronicle.
Of that? Christmas Chronicle.
It's a great movie.
So good.
Great movie.
I loved it. I loved it a lot. It was great.
So anyway, I guess that finally puts the debate to rest.
Well, notice Die Hard 2 is not on the list.
Well,
so
no.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
Right.
Sure. Whatever. Anyhow, you know, and speaking of movies and all that good stuff, I was also reading where apparently letting your kids play video games could be a good thing. And if they want some for Christmas, go ahead and get them some. According to CNET, they say that children who play games like Minecraft are actually getting early lessons in personal finance. So my question is, first of all, do you play that stuff, or are you a video game player at all? And what do you think about that?
I was a video game player for a long time growing up. I had, the Nintendo, then I had the Super Nintendo. I had them all, As a matter of fact, I worked a summer job in West Palm Beach doing roofing so I could buy my first PlayStation. Like it was, but when my son, my oldest son, Austin, he's home for Christmas now. I'm so excited. He's in college. He's still a gamer, but when he was a kid, he would play things that involved a lot of problem solving. Like I didn't let him play like Grand Theft Auto until he was in his teens, But he would play Minecraft was one of the ones he really liked, and to me, I would think that those are riddle games or mind kind of mind challenging games. He also played like the Lego games and stuff like that had actual puzzles. It seems like we kind of moved away from games that the point of the game was to solve the puzzle or solve the level, right? He would play those games, and I was perfectly happy with that because I felt like he was, and especially because they used to display the words on the screen, so you actually had to read.
Right.
Now they don't do that anymore. Yeah. But finances, I don't know how Minecraft and finances connect. You have to like buy something in the game? Is that what they're...
Yeah, and games like that. And there's another one called Animal Crossing where you buy a house, you earn the money to pay for it, you build improvements. You can also buy and sell things like vegetables and other commodities. And
Oh, yeah.
So those are kind of games I think that are pretty good for kids, right? That are teaching them something solid.
He has had games where he wants to upgrade things in the game, and you have to do things, and you have to earn enough money to. I mean, sure, that's a given. I guess I could see that. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know if it's teaching them about a Roth IRA, but it's teaching them something.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think they're talking about Ross in Minecraft. No.
Yeah, no. Not talking about retirement in Minecraft. They're talking about build it now, do it.
But
now.
That, and of course, it had my kids are all in there. My youngest ones are in their early 30s now, and had I known that you could go into these, what are they like? EA tournaments or whatever, the virtual tournament. And these people are winning $1 million to play video games.
Video games are big money. It's actually in our video games and esports are in our disruptive portfolios that we have for our families here. We have one, and that's our more aggressive investment type.
Right.
And it's only for a piece of your money in retirement, but it is diversified among things like video games and esports because it has become such a huge thing now. I mean, it's on TBS. They've got, right after what is that, Robot Wars or whatever? Right after Robot Wars, you got E-League on,
exactly.
On TBS, and they're playing all these games and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money in it.
Do you need to get that, or can somebody answer the phone?
No, I think Warren's going to get that. Yeah, Warren's going to get that.
Just kidding.
Somebody's calling already. Look
exactly. Look at that. Say, no, listen, I played Minecraft. I know how it works. I find it fascinating that it has evolved to that, right? People making millions of dollars. So,
and it's no joke, Bill.
No.
It is a lot of money. There's a lot of money out there in video games, and my son at one point said, I want to design video games. I said, go for it, because you gotta figure it's the one thing that's not going away.
Right.
Especially with the metaverse now, and now you're designing the virtual reality and I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of nutty. And I know people whose kids that were like college age or even high school age who got paid big bucks to go somewhere and be a tester.
Austin
just
would
testing the game.
He would get early access to all the games because he was on the lists and stuff. Like, he would be able to play beta versions of the game when they first started, but then he would have early access to the games right before they were released, and he had to allow them to monitor his play. So, like, a lot of these companies want to work the bugs out right away,
right?
So they release it to a certain number of people, and then they're monitoring as the play is happening, so that they can tell where there's a bug, what needs to be fixed. I thought that was kind of neat when he used to do that.
Well, don't you wish sometimes our savings accounts, our retirements came with bug fixes like that?
Oh, wouldn't that be great? I'll tell you, I wouldn't be surprised, Bill. Give it another 20 years or so. I bet you, with this technology, something will come up like that.
That's crazy.
You got too much Apple, sell it. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Oh, man. Well, Christmas is upon us, and, of course, that means New Year's around the corner, and with New Year's comes New Year's resolutions, and I was reading an article, I believe you're one of your favorite things, Kiplinger.
Oh, yeah.
And talking about being a financial hoarder. And they're saying that now is the time of year that you should resolve to start figuring out what you have and where it is. Kiplinger saying that financial hoarding can easily get out of control. So I just kind of skimmed the article. You know me, I'm a headline guy.
Right.
What's the difference between saving and diversifying and hoarding? I mean,
okay. So the hoarding, this is how it happens. Everybody's got the drawer at home, right? I call this the drawer.
Right.
This is the drawer in the kitchen where all the extra Chick-fil-A sauce is, all the soy sauce, all the extra paperwork, I'll just put it in the drawer so I don't forget. All the extra things end up in this drawer. And pretty soon, you don't know what the hell you have in that drawer anymore, right? You know that you can go there if you need sauce or something, but it's the same thing with our investments, especially as we're accumulating. And we don't work anywhere 30 or 40 years anymore, Bill. Nobody really does that anymore. So you move to a different company, now there's a different 401k. You might have had an old 401k with the other company, and you just, I'll leave that. Most people just kind of leave it alone and say, well, I've got this here. So you could end up with 5, 6, 7 different 401ks, all these other extra things that you had with each company. You might have had a health savings account. So it's all over the place now. And I think that's, especially if you're getting ready for retirement, even though we don't want to think about that and nobody ever wants to clear out the drawer, it's got to happen. Otherwise, you've got all these investments all over the place and you don't know where they are and you don't know how to access them. So I think that specifically is the difference between hoarding and saving and diversifying. Saving and diversifying, you put everything in one place. You know how much you have in cash. You know what you have invested. You know how you have all of your investments itemized. So diversifying, saving, that's different than just hoarding all these different accounts and not wanting to deal with them because that was with the other company I was with for 3 years, and now I see it all the time.
Yo, I'm sure you do. And I was going to ask you that. Do you have folks that come in and go, look, man, I'm on my sixth job. I forgot to close out my, my 401ks and other places. Is it hard to grab hold of all that stuff and roll it together?
It's not. It's a lot of paperwork. With our families, it takes us. I mean, it's just part of the service we provide. It could take a little while. I think the most we've ever seen, I think Kurt's probably seen it. I think it was somewhere in the 20s, all the different accounts that were all over the place. But for me, a lot of retirees, as they're getting ready to retire, they'll get a better grasp of their finances, and they'll do it on purpose. They'll have like 3 or 4 different custodial accounts. They'll have a Fidelity account, a TD account, and they'll have different accounts within those accounts, and they like to keep it separate, they say. And, they do that because no matter who you are in this country, no matter whether you're retired or not, everybody's a little bit superstitious, and everybody ends up with a certain way they like to do things. So nobody, for whatever reason, I don't meet a lot of families who have everything exactly in one place and say, here it is. And that's the key. What they have to realize is you can have everything in one place, but still be diversified. You can still have different investments. You don't need to have some money with Fidelity, some money with TD, some money, because honestly, Bill, what ends up happening is because the money's so spread out and not in one place, not one of those organizations sees exactly how much you have, and the amount that you have dictates some of the services that you receive as well. You could get better service by having it all in one place, because now your total is $1 million over here instead of $250,000. You're gonna get a lot better treatment with $1 million than you are with $250,000.
You think?
I know, and that leads to fees that you might not need to pay if your accounts are over a certain amount. They'll waive fees in certain situations, so you're literally saving yourself money there as well.
Yeah. So I guess the key there is to just not let stuff linger like that. Make sure you gather it all up and have everything in one place.
Clean out your financial junk drawer. That's what I call the financial junk drawer.
Yeah, because if you don't, you're going to open it after like 3 years and realize that one of the soy sauce packets burst, and there's
or the Chick-fil-A sauce is no good anymore, and now you're really mad because you love Chick-fil-A sauce,
and now you can't use it.
That's right.
Just when you wanted it most. Oh man.
I just got a big bottle of Chick-fil-A sauce. Were you aware that they're selling that in the stores?
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy.
It's at the grocery store, yeah.
I loved life. I haven't been in the grocery store in so long. I use that Instacart app, and I love it. It just saves so much time. But I was actually in there the other day, and I was perusing around. I'm like, look at that. It's a big bottle of Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah, my wife tells me that all the time. I usually do the pickup order for groceries.
Right.
And she's like, oh, but if you go every now and then, you see something that you don't think about and go, oh, that'd be great for dinner. But yeah, you're right. If you get to go there, you run across stuff like that. Chick-fil-A sauce in a big bottle.
Well, my stepfather's in town, and I just do the Instacart, and he always, when he sees me, he shakes his head. I don't want anybody else touching my food. I want to touch my food. I get it. And it's an old school, but for me, I look at the end of the year, they got this great thing in Instacart where you can see how many hours of shopping you saved.
Right.
I'm already at like 350 hours that I saved for the year by not going to the store.
Attaboy.
And I could have been sitting on my couch doing absolutely nothing during that time.
And I love that. And listen, I don't know your father-in-law, but my parents used to be that way too. I don't want anybody touching my food. Well, you know what? Somebody put it on the shelf. It's already been touched, dude.
Well, my stepfather's a big germaphobe. He's a big germaphobe.
Yeah, okay.
I love him to death, though. I mean, he comes down here. He severely helps me out. I have to make him a list because he can't sit still. So I need some lights in the garage. I need some other things done. He gets it all done.
Yeah, my dad was the same way. He could not sit still. You talk about the germaphobe thing. I was just talking to somebody about that the other day when COVID first happened, right? And things started to reopen. I remember I went through Starbucks one day, and I literally watched the guys make my coffee, pick up my cup, then put it on a tray to hand it to me. I was like, dude, you just touched the cup. What difference does it? Just hand me my coffee.
Right. It's like it gets borderline stupid.
Well, the optics is all they care about, right?
Just common sense went out the window.
No.
C stands for COVID, not common sense anymore.
No,
it just goes out the window.
No
and
kidding.
to tell you the truth, I don't have a problem with somebody wearing a mask when they're making my sub in Publix. I mean, honestly, that might be okay. They always wear gloves anyway.
And here's the thing: I don't care if you wear one or not. I'm not going to call you out. I mean, what do I care?
I don't care.
It doesn't hurt me at all.
Yeah.
So.
But if I see, come on, Bill, I told you at the beginning of the year this last year, I saw somebody in the hot tub at Disney World in a mask.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Are we really we're there now? That's where we are, a mask in a hot tub? I thought I was going to have to do CPR, and that wouldn't have been very hygienic.
Oh, God, that's so funny, though.
On.
I mean, that should be.
It's so funny. My son and Austin and I just looked at each other like, are you kidding me?
Holy cow. Well, listen, as we do get near the end of the year, and we're at the Christmas season and all that, we've talked about this earlier, right? That holiday spending this year is up.
Right.
On Adobe.com, Deloitte research puts it at about $1,455 per person. And the National Retail Federation estimates that we're going to end up spending an average of about $1,000 for holiday gifts. And we've talked about it before, too. Hopefully not on credit cards, because if you don't pay those off quickly enough, with interest rates going up, that could become a real nightmare.
Right.
And I'm sure that's what you advise all your folks of, right? If you're going to use the credit card, make sure you can pay it off in a month.
Yeah, our families are having the time of their life Christmas shopping because they're getting their points and then they're just paying it off at the end. For me, I just got a business Amazon card, and it's 5% cash back for the first year, no matter what you buy. So that was, to me, it was like, okay, I'm buying everything I can from Amazon because you're getting 5% cash back. But see, there's so many opportunities like that out there. A lot of people, especially successful families, some of them just don't pay attention. They're just like, oh, I'm just going to pay for it. Because the holidays already bring enough headaches, right? Like me with 2 kids in the mall in the stroller passing the cookie store. I mean, come on, it's a little bit of a headache. But I still look for my deals. And you certainly, I think we've said this so many times, you certainly don't want to go into the next year paying 18, 19, 20% in credit card debt on things that you couldn't afford. And we just have to accept the fact that as of right now, there are things that we can't afford. I would love to buy a little vacation place in Italy right now. Now, the reality is I could probably do that, but I can't necessarily afford it, because if I have to go and get a mortgage and do 6%, I'm not ready to do that yet. Because for me, I don't want to pay that kind of money.
Right.
I'd rather just have the cash, buy it, and be done, Some people are different, though. There's a lot of different ways to do things. I just think that the holidays brings out that holiday spirit in us, and some people it's the spirit of giving. Some people it's like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I got to do this for this person. And it just gets out of control. So, don't get swept up in it. Really just take a few seconds and think about things.
Yeah. And, we talked about it last time, and it happened for me since we've talked, where some of my kids live here, some live out of state. So we kind of have to pick a weekend near Christmas to all get together, right?
Right.
Because everybody wants to be home for Christmas Eve when Santa comes. And I get that. Totally makes sense. So we just had that happen this past weekend. And my wife and I, it's so cool when you have grown-up kids, right? Because you get a chance to sit back and watch them just hang out with each other as grown-ups, right? And you remember he's not touching me, I'm not touching you. You remember that stuff as little kids, right?
Right.
The way they would do that, get on each other's nerves. And then now we look at it and, man, we just smile and, appreciate the family time that we have, because
that's really
very special.
It's so special because I mean, just, my mom's in town and my stepdad's in town, and, I need my stepdad here to keep my mom under control, because she can get a little wild sometimes. She's a little crazy in her old age, and she goes off the rocker. She's got to be doing something, cooking, cleaning, whatever. But it's funny. Austin surprised me and came home yesterday, and Amelia is still in the house, obviously, but then the babies, Maverick and Scarlett, this is like this is Maverick's second Christmas, Scarlett's first Christmas. But I remember the most about this is them sitting on the floor with them. They sat down there for like an hour and they were all just playing together, And it's like, man, I can't believe how lucky, I am to have these kids. These are my legacy, right?
Yeah.
And my daughter Amelia has been spending the last 2 weeks making everybody homemade gifts. I mean, she's doing like these little clothes for the kids and stuff, and she's always real thoughtful like that. She loves making the gifts. So, I mean, I'm watching all this transpire, and I'm like, man, it is really, it's magical. Those types of memories are magical. My wife, not so much. She's not a fan of the holidays because, of course, she works at UPS. So all she sees is the negativity of the holiday rush, right? So I try and get her in the spirit a little bit. So, but 'cause it's just, for me, I'm always going to look back and remember some of those memories, right? Like my first house that I ever bought, and my little girl was probably like 7 or 8. And when we were finally all moved in and ready to just live in our house, she jumped out of the car, ran up to the door. I'll still remember her running up to the door. I mean, there's some moments that just jump out at you,
Yeah, and they're special, and that's really what it should be about. But like I always do this every year, and I thought I'd bring it up since we're talking about the cost of Christmas and all that. Every year you see these things, the stories about what would the 12 days of Christmas cost today, right?
Right.
Well, we're up about almost $5,000 over last year's cost. PNC Bank puts together this kind of whimsical little look at things, and they're saying that partridge for the pear tree is up 25% this year. Yep, $280. 2 turtle doves are up 33%.
Oh my gosh.
French hens are up 25%. You can get 3 of them now for $318, by the way, just so I let you know.
3 French hens. Got it. Okay.
The 4 calling birds haven't changed. Did not go up in value. 5 gold rings are up 40%.
Oh, there you go. Price of gold.
Yep. Your 6 geese a laying stayed flat, in case you want to know.
Okay.
You're looking to invest.
Got it.
Now, 7 swans of swimming, also no change, but still cost you over $13,000.
For 7 swans.
For 7 swans.
Wow.
8 maids of milking. Not easy to find, but the no upcharge from last year.
Are we allowed to call them maids?
You know what? I'm just going by the song. Just going by the song. Now, 9 ladies dancing. That is up 10%.
Well, depending on whether you're in Canada or the U.S., right?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
And what kind of dancing?
Right.
24%. Up 24% for 10 Lords of Leaping. Tell you what, man, that Lords of Leaping union has it going on because they're charging $13,900 for 10 Lords of Leaping this year. And then the 11 pipers piping are up a little bit, and 12 drummers drumming are up. But this year's total is over $45,000 if you want to buy everything on the 12 Days of Christmas list.
Wow. So. Listen, I'm going to do you one better. I know, I don't know if you know this or not, but I have an obsession with little people. I love little people, and I do this because the first time I ever came into contact with them, I was doing The Wizard of Oz, and a lot of them were the same people from the original movie. They did tours and they came around and stuff. And then I go to the they don't like to be called little people. They like to be called dwarfs. The dwarf wrestling events. Love those. I just love entertainment in its form. And I love the fact that you've got these people that have, really gotten the short end of everything, right? I mean, no pun intended. They just don't. And then there's still these entertainment value. There's still these entertainment companies that they're forming. We have a little people entertainment hall over on the other side, on the other coast here. Okay. And they have little Elvis, little Marilyn Monroe. They have all these different acts that they do, right? And every year I check it out because every year I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool to have a little Elvis guy at our Christmas party for the families and stuff? I've always wanted to do it. So I'm always checking prices. They are up at least 15% every year. It doesn't matter what year it is. The price just keeps going up and up and up. I don't know whether the shows get better or what, but that is something that I look into every year. And you would think even in that environment, it's a real niche environment, right? So how are we getting that much of an increase? But it's increasing.
Well, everybody's up this year. Everything is up, right? All that, everything. Cost of living and everything. But as we kind of wrap things up here today, I wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. And Adam, I want you and your family, I hope you all enjoy this special time together.
Oh, Bill, you as well. And I want to second what you said. Obviously, we say Merry Christmas because that's our way that we share our holiday spirit. Whatever it is that you say at the holidays, we wish you the same thing, right? Just some unforgettable memories and time with your family because that's what it really all comes down to. And I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be a pest right now. Don't forget, Christmas is coming up, but so is January 1st. So if you still have to do any charitable contributions, if you still have to look at your tax situation, make sure you're really into that. Don't get swept away by the holidays and miss out on thousands of dollars because we didn't make the right decision about an RMD or something like that. Make sure that you have your financial ducks in a row before the holidays are over.
Because that'll make the holiday season even better.
Oh, even better. Yeah, you don't want to get a big tax bill or something January 1st because you forgot about something.
You just say those words, I get a shudder down my spine. Man.
It is. It's like a chill.
Yeah. Way to bring us down, Adam. Good job.
I try.
I'm kidding. Listen, man, have a great one and enjoy your Christmas, and we will talk again next week.
Yes, we will, Bill. Thanks so much. God bless you, everyone.
And again, thank you so much for listening to the Retirement Evolve podcast with certified financial fiduciary, Adam Bruno.
Investment advisory services are offered through Evolution Wealth Management Incorporated, an investment advisor registered with the state of Florida. Registration does not imply any level of skill or training. Evolution Wealth Management's unique CRD number is 307644. You can obtain a copy of Evolution Wealth Management's firm brochure, Form ADV Part 2A, free of charge by visiting advisorinfo.sec.gov. Evolution Wealth Management offers investment advisory services only, where it is appropriately registered or exempt from registration and only after clients have entered into an investment advisory agreement document confirming the terms of engagement and have been provided a copy of the firm's ADV Part 2A. Insurance services are provided by Evolution Retirement Services. Any guarantees mentioned are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and may be subject to restrictions, limitations, or early withdrawal fees, which vary by the issuer. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. You should consider the charges, risks, expense, and investment objectives carefully before entering a contract. This material has been prepared for informational purposes only and should not be construed as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect either transactions in securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice. This material is not intended to provide and should not be relied on for tax, legal, accounting, or other financial advice. Evolution Wealth Management and Evolution Retirement Services do not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. You should consult your own tax, legal, and accounting advisors before engaging in any transaction. Evolution Wealth Management and Evolution Retirement Services are affiliated entities.